And I walked away from that knowing that it's all occurring in your head. It's not like you're going to go home, you're going to rest, you're going to eat, you're going to have anything bandaged up, and then you're going to be fine, before you know it. So I understood that at a pretty young age. From there, my life, I made, in my teenage years, I started getting into trouble, ended up being incarcerated a number of times, and ironically kind of found strength training behind bars. I I'd always, like as a boy, been drawn to like the martial arts movies, like the monk on the mountaintop who's meditating and training in perfect, stillness and purity. And ironically, I met a few of the older guys behind bars that had kind of, they had come from legitimately bad backgrounds and done bad things, but after being in there for 10 or 20 years, had kind of found a state of Zen where they were in this, they would, ironically, they called it programming, just like we as athletes do. They called it like running your program. And it wasn't just your exercise. It's you wake up in your morning, your meditation, your prayer, your daily routine, your how you comport yourself as an inmate, as a prisoner, your honor, all these things. It's just kind of like, your personality, your routines. And I became kind of drawn to that solitary mindset. So I ended up doing a lot of calisthenics in there, won a couple of the fittest inmate competitions, which were just basically, a group of guys, the guards get together and so you can do the many push-ups and dips and air squats and these, burpees in these certain amount of times. So it was fun. And it was also probably the first time that I kind of looked at, like, I drew a straight line between walking like a very disciplined path and experiencing like some form of freedom from it. Like, well, they say discipline equals freedom, the whole Jocko thing. That was kind of the
Mhm.
first time I
Yeah.
understood the dichotomy of that. And it, eventually, so long story short, that was my, between being raised as the son of a bear hunter and then being an inmate, I had never really, I didn't have any, like, I was no professional athletic background, no training, never ran cross country. The one blip on the radar was that I was born, just came out of the womb as like a freaky, genetically fast sprinter. Um,
Mhm.
when I was a preteen, I ran a laser timed 4.51 40-yard dash. I'd never had training, never done plyometrics like the other guys on the team, like none of that. It was just a weird thing. But the cost of that is that I had no endurance at all, like no endurance at all. Like very, very, very fast twitchy for, four or five good explosions and then just done after that. And so it made ultra running a run, any sort of long distance running relatively physiologically challenging in the early stages before I started to become what you would call maybe more of an adaptive athlete.